So we studied visual communication, not really a design course, and very little design thinking that goes into that course.
More of a communications course.
Yeah, it did help us a lot, although at the time when we were studying we thought we were not really getting much out of it, but in the long run we did see that there was a lot of communication help that came in from there. But generally design, there are very few design schools and few places that focus on graphic design, at least in Chennai. And it's something that you have to pick up on your own. You have to follow the grades, and you have to get inspired, and you have to train yourself. And that's what we've also been, our company's been into, is to pick up a whole bunch of fresh talent and nurture them and show them what good design is, and communicate. Design is all around us, right? And the way we depict design is and the kind of communication and the kind of style used is going to vary from medium to medium. We did not pick any one particular style of design or one style of thing to focus on. Our company has always been about design for everything.
Design for us is all about telling stories and how we can communicate these stories to our audiences. So the whole love for it is not just to make it look good, but also to be functional. And you practice it locally. So it's more on a global, local scale. So you apply what's happening globally, but it's regional, region-specific design.
Like when I started getting into design, I was more on the digital scale, and I was into websites, and that time there was no social media per se. There was just like Orkut and stuff, which nobody was really marketing on. But when it came to designing websites, for me, my dad used to get these messages saying that you could get your website for 5,000 rupees. He said, what kind of career are you going to get if you're going to be designing websites for 5,000 rupees, if that's what a value of a website is? And so it was a tough fight on my end to tell him that no, this is the future, and trust me, things are gonna go digital. It's really gonna blow up. And in the beginning, he didn't really trust me, but he supported me. He said, "Okay, fine, go do it, see where it goes." And today he knows that that I made the right decision. If somebody is motivated enough to fight their way through it, they can make a lot of money. There's plenty of places that offer a lot of money, and we would also offer a lot of money for someone who does really good design and someone who has good communication skills. But that's something that the parents and the child needs to understand, that hey, is this right for me or not? Whether it's a lucrative career or not is not the question, because any career can be lucrative if you're good at it and you focus and you put your hard work into it. We started off when we were 21 years old. It was hard for us back then. Whatever little money that we made a difference for us, and it pushed us. The more we worked, the more we pushed, and the more we pushed, the more better work we got. And today, 10 years down the line, I can really say that whatever hard work that we've put in has really paid off.
The parents need to drink with their kids, get to know their innermost feelings, get to understand the substance that children are made of.
We have been native designers of the digital platform, right? When websites came out, we were designing websites in the 9th grade. They were bad websites back then, but we had started up there. And we've evolved with technology, we've evolved with the mediums and the modes of communication. Today, we look at social media not as a separate medium. I mean, yes, it is a separate medium, but it's still marketing. When you look at marketing, you need to understand marketing on a global scale. You need to understand, communicating the right message on a global scale. And social media is just another medium. I would use it. I would maybe design around it a little differently, but I would still need to have the core basics of communication in order to market even on social media.
But having said that, we were also like print designers when we did start out our company 10 years back, and we did get to see part of the demise of print and move into more digital things. Yeah. And that's, I think, the way things are going.
It's not yet dead though.
Yeah. Still love books.
In our company, we're not the strict boss. We're not the boss that is like making you slog your way out. We make them slog, but it's only when it's due for things. But people treat us more as friends at the office, and it's a very open culture. We encourage a lot of free thinking and free speech. So it's not, that's how creativity is really born. So we try not to be our bosses.
Yeah, moreover, as bosses, I don't think we get the opportunity to do what we did at other companies when we worked, and like taking the day off and bunking. It doesn't happen anymore. You can run 102 temperature and still be at work. It's okay. When you start out as a freelancer, it's not a very easy game because A, you have to make your contacts. B, it's better to have worked in some other place so you understand your ground rules and how to apply those rules. Because being a freelancer, it comes down to like, okay, the client has briefed me on a particular design, I'm going to start designing it. No, you got to strategize that. You got to think about what you're going to do, answer all those questions, and then finally get down to your computer. You don't just get to your computer. So that's where the equation is off with freelance design. A lot of them just dive into the work because they're just trying to make money, and they don't understand, where the bigger picture is, how the brand has to operate post that. So, that's the kind of experience I think any freelancer needs, to work with a company for a couple of years, understand how it works, and then go on his own, start his own company. Unlike the West, where everything is, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and you can speak what you want to say, and people will eventually get it because they're looking for bold new approaches and how a brand can actually project something that people can relate to. Whereas out here, it's become a matter of censorship, and you can't really do the crazy things you want to do. Sometimes you get to do some crazy things when you have an open-minded client in a bar or of the sort, but otherwise it's very difficult to break into somebody and tell them, your new milkshake brand needs to be, a little bolder. It can't be this boring, run of the mill where everybody's. You can't run with the rest of the pack, right? You got to.
So one of the tricks is to make sure that you and your client are on the same page.
A few years back, Anek and I were planning that, Womama Design should be like a place where people come and get like a workshop on creative design. Meet interesting people from the industry, particularly like freelancers and students who don't get this opportunity, or prospective people to join us and people who are looking for. Because as I said, it's very difficult to find really outstanding designers out here, and that's what we're looking for. We're a tight unit, so this whole thing of having a kind of a course or a workshop structure was to bring in those kind of folk and get them into our fold as well, or as well give them a good interactive session of how things work in the industry.
So one of the things why we've not done it in terms of setting up a workshop or anything, we've planned it, we've thought about it, we've structured the whole thing, but then if you come to think of it, everyone that is working at Womama Design today has started from scratch. They were freshers, or they had very little experience in the market, and people stay on for a very long time at our place because they're learning stuff, because they're actually having the real education at our place, right? And so technically we're doing a workshop where we're paying the people for, instead of getting money from the people, and that in our mind gives them a little bit more seriousness, when you're getting paid to do something and you're learning to do it as well. We've hired people who come to us with like one poster design because we know that the guy has some kind of design thinking, or he has a frame of mind that I can relate with. So we've hired people on a whim, and we've seen that there have been some good choices and some bad choices, and all the good choices have stayed on. They've built themselves up to a really good level. They've got some really good things going for them, and for those guys, everyone in our office, we're constantly teaching them. We have workshops, we have people coming from outside. We talk to them about money, we talk to them about bitcoins, we talk to them about everything, just to make sure that they're not only thinking about design all the time. We're trying to make sure that they are people who can survive in the world at the end.